Welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's your daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and burglarize the Star Wars movies, 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
I'm Steele Saunders, and I'm innocent. I don't want to be part of this burglary.
I'm just saying she just breaks into somebody's room here and just takes stuff. Well, anyway, here, let's set it up.
So
she is a scavenger. That's in her nature. We're talking today, of course, about minute 60. 60 minutes of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. 60 starts with Rey kind of getting into... She doesn't have to break into Kylo. She just kind of wanders into Kylo's room and looks at his stuff. And it ends with Kylo saying he knows the rest of Rey's story. He knows the rest of Rey's story. One thing that we talked about the aesthetic of Kylo's room, but one thing I thought that this kind of evokes, the way that she's kind of sneaking her way in, to me, it felt a lot like Luke in Bespin before the duel. After he sees his friends, but before he starts the duel, when he's just kind of walking through the empty hallways of Bespin.
yeah, I can see that.
Seemed a little bit like that to me.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't think that's thematically meant to rhyme like that, but it just kind of evoked that a little bit.
So do we think this is...
A good idea.
we talked earlier in the week about how the finalizer was destroyed. So did Kylo Ren, like, at one point bring his luggage and stuff, like the Darth Vader helmet, etc., back onto, like, is someone in charge of packing up all his stuff and moving into this new place? Anyway.
Could be. He's like a droid, like an emergency droid.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Or did somehow did the helmet survive being blown up on a Star Destroyer and then someone had to go retrieve it? and bring it back?
How did the helmet get there? But how did the other ship get blown up? Like,
I don't remember.
I don't remember any of this. So.
Because Snoke's giant one that got split in two. But I don't remember any other ship.
Kylo Ren didn't have a room on that ship, did he?
Was it on Snoke's ship?
That's what I'm saying.
No, because you didn't even see it in the last movie, did you?
No.
Right.
I don't think so.
But
anyway.
Yeah, it could be the same ship. I'd like it if it's the same. Why isn't it the same ship? It should be.
It's not. This is the Steadfast is his new ship. The finalizer was crippled at the Battle of Batuu. I'm guessing that was at the beginning of The Last Jedi, that whole bit. And after an attack left it crippled, it was retired as the main flagship of the First Order in favor of the Steadfast. So I'm guessing they did have time to unload everything.
Batuu that's Galaxy's Edge. That's not the...
Isn't that the planet what planet...
No, you're talking about Jakku. There was a Battle of Jakku, but that was before Kylo Ren.
Or maybe what's the planet that they ended up on at the end of Force Awakens and were leaving at the beginning of Last Jedi?
I'm just telling you what it says in the Wikipedia.
So what? The Battle of which planet does it say in the Wikipedia?
Well, the Battle of which planet sounds like an awesome Disney movie, Disney like made for TV kids movie.
Okay, it says after the car, that was the last planet. That was the planet with the rebels on.
Yes.
It was under the command of Captain Peavy during this time due to General Hux being transferred to the Mega Class, the Supremacy.
So it got blown up by the bombers or whatever in that battle.
Yeah.
When Paige died. At the start of The Last Jedi.
I don't know. That's one of the problems with the Wikipedia is they don't give you sources for when things happen. So you just have to...
Because it was a dreadnought, not that got destroyed.
Yeah.
That was like the big ship that got destroyed in that scene.
Right, yeah.
I think
Anyway.
we don't see anything. I think this happened off screen, and they just told us about it.
No,
Or not.
no. Do you know what it is? It's just J.J. Abrams. Oh, need new, bigger. Let's bigger,
Right.
bigger.
Right.
Everything's bigger.
Yeah.
Hey, remember the Death Star? It could blow up a planet. Hey, now we've got 100 Star Destroyers with guns that can do the same. Bigger,
Right.
bigger.
So, yeah, Rey enters the room, sees the helmet there, and then there's like this seems like a video game thing where there's like a counter with a dagger, Chewie's bandolier, and the
Right.
bowcaster. It's like, which one do you want to use? And then like the character then picks it up.
Loot the room.
Into the room.
Well, I had a question about the helmet here. Because I feel like the other time that we saw it in the same kind of similar scenario, we also heard the faint strains of the Imperial March, and I'm wondering, does it play that diegetically? Is it like one of those, like a talking bank or like a birthday card or something like that, where whenever anybody walks up to, or like the thing at the museum where you press the button, like is it like that? Where anytime anybody walks near the helmet on the pedestal, it plays like burr, burr,
Yeah.
burr,
Darth Vader was the head of the Empire.
Yeah, I think that especially given the way that Kylo set up his room and his obsession, I think that's likely.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll
What's
ever
with those
find out how he
boxes?
got this thing.
How we got
Oh,
the helmet?
The
Yeah.
helmet. Remember, like when that first trailer came out for The Force Awakens, like in my speculation circles, like Kylo Ren was on Endor and it was snowing because of the nuclear winter,
Mm.
and he was looking for the helmet. Like, in this scene where he lights his lightsaber that's not even in the movie. But yeah, it was like, oh, he's on Endor going to get the helmet because they've got to show us how you get the helmet. Come on.
He
Do
bought
I
it from some
want
Ewok.
to? Yeah, probably. Or it's a replica.
Actually, there must be a lot of fake Imperial like artifacts out there.
Right. I wonder if what's the trade like in, because there's a place near me that like it's that it's like a antique store kind of a thing, but you turn a corner and without warning, all of a sudden there's a bunch of Nazi stuff that is on display. Like not as a like, hey, isn't this great? It's like with a little sign that says like, hey, this history, this really happened, but here's some like Nazi not memorabilia. That makes it sound like
Paraphernalia.
but artifacts. Yeah. So I wonder if
I reckon calling it memorabilia is like perfect. Like,
like
why sugarcoat it?
right, have like little
Like,
hats.
why do you want to own this? Like,
Yeah, but is it the same way with the Empire? Do we think here? Is there like an active trade in it that's kind of looked down upon, and can you get kind of?
yeah, it's in the books in that Bloodline book, which was sort of written in conjunction with The Last Jedi. I think Ryan Johnson had a bit of like storyline input, like there's like an attack on Princess Leia's life, and he had a fair amount to do with that. But there's a guy, I can't remember his name, but he's got a good name. It's a good Star Warsy name, and he collects like Imperial. I'm pretty sure in the show he just gets a Royal Guard helmet. Not in the show, but in the book. Like, but yeah, he's got all like helmets and stuff displayed because his thing is like, I just love the military, like,
Right.
Yeah,
but he
makes
didn't
sense.
have any of those rebel soldier like toilet basin helmets there, did he?
No,
He loved the
just-
military. What about
See?
the forces on the Tantive 4? Oh, and why is the Tantive 4 even in this? Like, what's the backstory in how they got that? You talked about that on an episode the other day, yeah. Like that they went and like it's so. It's something that Star Wars falls into, and it's when like I find J.J. Abrams and Jon Favreau to be of a similar ilk, where they're like really powerful in Hollywood. And they sort of go into the Star Wars job like on a like politically pretty level with the studio, whereas the other directors are sort of like, they could get replaced at any moment.
and have been.
Yes. Yeah. And and they sort of come in with these references that like harm, like they make this reference, but they don't think it out. And it's sort of like the Tantive 4, it's like, but it was in the Star Destroyer and then the Death Star blew up. Like, how did you get it back? Like, and it's such a convoluted story. Why bring it back? Like, do you just need that and another reference? Like, and do you know what I mean? If you put in the training ball, in Force, so obviously, but it's just like you've
And
referenced,
service.
but you've referenced yourself out of belief. Favreau, in Mando season 3, Mandalorian's got a piece of Mandalore, and he says, "I bought it from a Jawa," and it's like, yeah, sweet reference. But it makes no sense because who's going to go to this dead planet that's like, it's so dangerous to go to, get a relic from it, and then go to Tatooine and swap it to some, like, why would a Jawa even buy it? Like, it seems like you're going to the wrong marketplace to sell this thing. So it's over-referencing.
I can mentally, of course, probably no surprise, I can mentally construct there's like a chain of events that could lead to, let's say if the Tantive was inside the Star Destroyer is not going to go back into the Death Star probably, right? So it would be safe. Then at the end of it was in like the impound lot at the end of Return of the Jedi when they took over, and then the rebels came in, they set up the New Republic, and they're like, hey, guess what we have here? Oh, in the impound lot there's Leia, your dad's car is in the impound lot. Do you want that?
Can I ask a question about that though? Weren't they gonna like present that Leia's ship got blown up, or there was a reactor leak on it, or something? Wasn't there some
all aboard
story
were killed? Yeah,
right. But not the ship was destroyed, but just all aboard were killed. So they didn't say the ship blew up. They're just like, yeah, everybody died because they probably went through and killed everybody, but not.
Yeah, it's a massive stretch. Like Kylo Ren can't keep a ship for about 3 weeks, it seems.
Right, yeah.
And when you think about how close together these movies occur, but yeah, somehow they get the Tantive 4 back for this reference. I don't.
My explanation aside, I don't like that it's the actual same ship.
Yeah, because I remember in the trailer, I'm oh my god, and then like what? Like it's that sugar rush that then afterwards you're like, oh,
why did I eat that?
Oh, my head hurts.
It's especially odd in the case of the Tantive 4 because I don't imagine casual people would piece it together. The only people who would say, oh my gosh, that's the Tantive 4 are hardcore Star Wars fans who would be bothered by the fact, well, wait a minute, how'd that get here? You know what I mean? So
right.
The Wikipedia.
I think a lot of people would recognize it without then thinking, oh, what actually happened to that ship again? Right. I think that's most people. I think they recognize it, but don't like think about, because it is a lot. Like it is like it did take us, and do you know what I mean? Like we're world class Star Wars dorks to like try come up with like, wait, what happened to that thing again? So I think people recognize it, but don't overthink it.
According to the Wikipedia, it's vague. The last we hear, it's captured by the Empire, and then many years later, someone found it derelict in a hangar. So
there you go. That's what I said.
Maybe they sold
it.
Mm-hmm.
This family has amazing luck in losing ships and then getting them back.
Everything comes back from the dead.
Wow.
Ships and lightsabers.
Yeah, like the Falcon, the Tantive, the lightsaber. It's some luck.
It is.
Anywho,
well,
minute 60.
Going back for a second to the stuff that's laid out right there for the taking in Kylo's room. I had a moment where I was like, wait a minute, what did Kylo Ren just like grab this stuff and just take it back to his room and just plop it down on his dresser and then go do other stuff? And I was like, wait a minute, I do that every day. So yes, I just like, just take it down, just plopped it down on my dresser, went about my business. So
there's no way he put it there.
You think somebody else came in and laid it out for him to see, like when
he's not picking that up and carrying it around. He's not a carrier.
Well, and also Chewbacca was captured by we saw him being brought in by the First Order. Remember the scene where the guy's holding up the dagger? So it's possible that one of those guys just said, you know what, Kylo Ren probably wants this. Let's just leave it there so he can find it. As opposed, because Kylo Ren, he was just, although he got into the whole duel.
He might have said, he goes, put it in my room next to the water purifier.
Right.
But yeah, these
don't
boxes,
touch the helmet.
Like I've got it on my screen, the boxes, like the weird, like it's like a 2x2 Rubik's cube with a little circle, and they're molded Star Wars boxes. Like, is that like the Expedite of space, like the famous IKEA sort of bookcase? But it's a popular pattern.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have it up in front of me. My first instinct is to say chew boxes, of course, but are they empty boxes or full boxes? We don't know. Or they're closed or open?
The Schrodinger's boxes. We don't know if they're empty.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, this is where Rey, she picks up the dagger, and she then she's getting like Force memories of her parents. I assume she's hearing these voices because she's like, is the dagger?
Yes,
the dagger is somehow making her hear those voices.
She's the dagger has memory of a sort. It's resonating with I guess maybe through some element of the Force, the dagger is resonating, reminding her that this was the dagger that killed her parents.
Yeah, I thought it was sort of like almost like the blood on the dagger is speaking to her. Like
there's a thing where it like soaks up the blood of its victims.
Like she's getting this memory of this traumatic event that happened to the dagger.
Rey does have a history of picking up bladed weapons and being flooded with memories and psychic impressions. So
there you go.
You know, some people's theory about ghosts is that it's a scarring on the area where a really traumatic thing happened to some. Like it's like whatever happened to that person was so like their sort of like consciousness, whatever, is scarred in the area. So I guess but the question is about its memory. Does its memory go back to before the Death Star or after the Death Star? Like that's like, how long back is this memory? Where you at, Dagger?
We could ask the Dagger whether or not which came first. The
stories that Dagger can tell.
The fact that this Dagger, is this 20 years old or 200 years old, and there's no answer, is just, it's quite ridiculous, but it stands to reason. And this is my last episode, so I've got to get in a few things that, a guy that started a trilogy based around a mystery he didn't have the answer to, but he just would put out clues. What's the answer to all these? I don't know, but they're clues.
Not my problem.
The beauty of it, he didn't have to wrap it up at the beginning. He's like, I could just put out all these things, and then everybody else will solve the problems creatively. And then he was like, no, wait, we need you to come back and solve these problems. And he was like, oh no.
It's like you can't put out a mystery and not know the answer. Like, how can you hint at something that you don't know what you're hinting at? Or like it's just hinting. There's a mystery. Like it's quite daft.
Yeah.
And that's always like the difference when people say, George Lucas didn't have a plan and all that. And it's like, yeah, but when I watched Star Wars, like I was quite sure. I wasn't wondering who Luke Skywalker's dad was. Like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't part of the show. It was introduced like later on.
Well, I mean, they do.
Dude,
what?
No.
What?
There's like when Star Wars was written,
right?
Like Luke's dad was like
a navigator on a space freight.
Yeah, he was just a different guy. He was, a student of Obi-Wan's.
Yeah,
he was somebody else. Like, the first draft of Empire, Anakin comes back to help. Anakin and Yoda come back to help Luke fight Darth Vader. Like, he was totally a different guy on a different job.
Yeah. Whereas this trilogy is like the premise of the like one of the big premises of the trilogy is like where'd Rey come from?
Right.
And like they
Although-
didn't know. But I always like, what did he whisper in that little girl's ear? Remember when he did that Q&A and he whispered into the girl's ear
No.
who Rey's parent, like J.J. Abrams, like during The Force Awakens after it came out. And yeah, he did a Q&A and she wanted to know who Rey's parents was, and he whispered something, told her and said, don't tell anyone. And it's like the grail of Star Wars podcasting is to get that little girl who's probably like, maybe an adult by now. And
what was her reaction? Did she just go, "Oh, okay," or did she? Do you know?
No, I don't know, because I only heard audio of it. I remember it was like on a podcast or something.
It's funny if he's there was a clone of Palpatine and she's the daughter of the clone of Palpatine. You know, be a weird thing to.
I don't know. Please help me. Do you have any ideas?
No, like. Look fascinated, surprised, and impressed. And I'll give you $10,000, please. Like,
I'm whispering something in your ear.
Right. Peas and carrots. Or, of course, Hail Hydra. So that's the other.
Also, I'm not sure if Rey's parentage was supposed to be a big mystery. I mean, everyone made it a big mystery, but like in the first movie, it didn't end with her being like, I'm going to find out who I don't know. It didn't seem like they were hinting that was going to be a plot line. Like, it just seemed like it was almost just kind of like they wanted to come up with the simplest possible explanation for not having to deal with how she got there. Oh, she was left there. Now let's move on. You know,
no, but it was
obviously everyone
a mystery
made it.
Of like she's powerful, so that's how did she get the power? And then she has that flashback, and she sees the ship flying off, right. And I there was like. I feel like traces of a different sort of plot because, like, I don't know, Kylo Ren seems very interested in the girl, and like do you know what I mean? Like, it sort of felt like that at one point in time that they had come across each other before.
I just read not too long ago that there was the idea before Carrie Fisher passed away. They had a whole different, like, Palpatine wasn't even supposed to be in it, and I forgot if it was...
How could you not have Palpatine in it? Because, like, when you think about it with Star Wars, it's always been about the Skywalkers and the Palpatines.
Well,
I agree that I don't think he was going to be in it. Otherwise, they would have had more hints in episodes 7 and 8.
Oh, no. I'm making fun of a thing that Chris Terrio said in the documentary that it's Star Wars has always been about... I need to get that to the listening public. I'm not vouching for that. It's always been about, this is the quote, the Skywalkers and the Palpatines, plural.
Wow.
Has it always been about that?
Well, I mean, if in a sense, well, no. First of all, no. But then, second of all, in a sense, if you...
No, this is you. Short answer, no. Frustrating answer.
Yeah. Frustrating answer is if you extend the theory that Darth Sidious used the Force to influence the biology and create life and was Anakin's quote-unquote father, in a sense, then he could also be considered a Palpatine.
Hey, what about this for an idea for a movie, right? So you know how I said the other day about how I wish it was part of this big Sith Palpatine plan that it all kept, even his failings set him up. Like, John, I mean, he had to get rid of Darth Vader. It was good he betrayed him because that was just dead weight and whatever. What if, so in this episode, so he dies forever. Like, he doesn't get to, the dyad turns on him, on Palpatine. So he has lost his chance to ever come back, right? Mm-hmm. But then in this next film, the Rey one, because Palpatine's dead forever, that releases some spirit of Darth Plagueis. And then Darth Plagueis is freed from, because, Darth Plagueis found out how to cheat death. But then Palpatine stole that power off him. And then Palpatine dies. Darth Plagueis comes back. the ultimate big bad in the final one.
I'm on board.
I am not, but it's okay. I need as much as
How dare you?
I know. I'm sorry. I want to get away from the Sith and Jedi stuff going forward. I know it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, you're too busy worried about defending those cupboards that weren't there in Return of the Jedi.
Well, Kylo Ren shows up in this minute.
He does. He says, "Rey," startles her. Rey. So there's another. Do we count? I guess we do count that as characters saying other characters' names, or is it just have to be shouting them, or is it just saying them? I don't know.
I reckon you got to be shouting them.
Okay.
Because that's the real trope.
Yeah.
When they're communicating with each other via psychic message, are they saying these things out loud? Like if Finn was in the room with her, would he see her going like, "Oh, I'm not evil," like talking to no one, or is this just going on in their brains?
I think it's more in their brains, because when we saw the kind of like disconnect from in the Pasana, the Festival of the Elders, the Ancients, the Elders.
Yeah.
Ancestors. There we go.
They're using their mouths.
I mean, but they're also, it's not like they're also in an environment where they weren't, when they were talking to each other on Pasana, it was nighttime. When it wasn't nighttime, you know what I mean? I don't think it's necessarily a realistic.
I do also like the idea of, again, going back to, Finn's point of view from all this, where like Rey every once in a while just kind of wanders off and says something mysterious. Like I do like the idea of him kind of just seeing her, standing there talking off into the wall and be like, "Yes, oh no, only to you," like only a one-sided conversation. And
I reckon that's what he'd see, because it's sort of like in Return of the Jedi, at the Ewok celebration, like no one else sees like those three old men hanging out in the corner.
Yeah, as far as we know.
Yeah, we don't know.
But
it's another good idea for a story that somebody else at that party was
a ghost.
No, was a Force user who didn't know it yet, a nascent, an unidentified Force user who didn't have it, and they just they saw those people there and were bewildered by that fact, and they were trying to find out what that meant. There's a seed for a story there somewhere.
It sounds like when Biff found the almanac and went back in time or something. He's like, he just sees something from it. He knows how to see Jedi or something. Or maybe he learns that Anakin Skywalker was Darth Vader and he uses that vision to somehow benefit him.
Yeah, there you go. He's like, "Guys, check this out."
But
I'm trying to find this original. Trying to find the original. Unfortunately, all the things that I
Can I ask a question? I just want to stay on that topic for one more thing. So if you guys are saying it's in their mind, right? So are you saying in real life they're both standing there just like...
Yeah. I mean,
no.
Possibly. Is that sillier than them standing in a room and just being like talking?
Yeah, it's like it's like FaceTime. That's like, it's
right.
Yeah,
That's
no,
true,
yes, that is sillier than that. Definitely. Like, yes, that is way sillier than that. They're talking. They're walking and talking.
Okay.
I would say I'm frustrated that trying to find the original plot ideas that I had just read about, but unfortunately, when I Google the original plot ideas for this movie, all that comes up is Colin Trevorrow's script, Duel of the Fates script or whatever. And that's not what I was looking for. There was another idea where Palpatine wasn't going to be in it at all, and she was still going to be identified as being related to somebody, and I can't remember if she was another child of Han and Leia or something along those lines, or maybe another child of Leia, like a half sibling. There was something that I was like, oh, that's interesting, and then lost the page and can't remember where it went. So, and I can't find it again. So maybe it was a dream. I don't know.
There was going to be a half sibling.
Something like that. Maybe it was like Leia's, maybe she was Han's daughter from a later relationship or something along those lines. I don't know.
I am your stepsister.
Oh, there's like
I don't know.
As much
moot
as I
point now.
like this film, it's a definite bummer. It's good to know that there was worse ideas not used. So that's very reassuring.
Well, along those lines, this is your last crack at the bat here. Is there anything you've mentioned some of the stuff that you want us to look out for down the road? Is there anything else that you want to?
I should point out. I'm just running through my unsaid little notes. I saw this at a press screening at on Hollywood Boulevard, and the cynicism to some of these lines was audible. Like it was like I remember like you're a Palpatine or something, and just like groans and laughter, like just. It was something. I found this such a letdown and a heartbreak and a bummer. But it was sort of interesting experience to not like one. Like, because after seeing the way people didn't like the Last Jedi and how they handled themselves with that displeasure. It was a real, it was sort of like interesting. How much do I go on about this? Like, do you know what I mean? Like
cautionary tale. Like, do I want to be one of those jerks who's just, yeah.
Yeah. And that was sort of like I did the series of pods about what I like, scoring each like sort of scene because I was like, oh, there's so many bits in this that are sick. And then there's like bits that just, like the changing of the Rey backstory is like, to me, you've changed what made the character like the best thing ever. Because I just thought she was just so awesome and such a hero for for our time and a great role model. What other stuff would I definitely want that. I want that cupboard explored quite
I'm on it.
Quite thoroughly. Hey, what about this one? When did Leia and Luke know that Rey was a Palpatine? They are aware of it in this movie. I didn't get a trace of them being aware of it, and if they were, just mind-boggling actions to do it. Like it's that was just such a bizarre. Like when did they learn? Like,
yeah.
Well, Luke, I assume when Luke died, that's what I'm going to assume. I'm assuming when he got to Force Ghost Heaven, that's when like all the everything's revealed to him, and he's like, oh, no wonder. You know what I mean? And then
dude, that'd be that. Like, imagine if that was real. And when you died, you got to know all the.
It could be. I'm hoping.
Like I'm straight UFO. Let's go UFO fire. Let's go. Right. Let's bang them out. Yeah. Area 51, 52.
All the mysteries are answered here.
Yeah, that'd be so sick to get that
you crossed. If that's happened.
Some all knowing, but
reorientation. Yocasta New shows up and it's like, okay, Luke, here are the answers.
Yeah,
here's what's going on in your life.
Yeah, but one would argue if it was never made a question of, it's never a big thing about who the parents were, why would Luke even find out? Huh? In the afterlife. Why would you even look it up?
Well, I just can't, when he gets there, Obi-Wan and Yoda, he just can't wait to tell him. You know what I mean?
Ah, so it's like a snide, like, it's like gutter, like, guess who had a little, grandchildren
His
out of
face I want to see when I tell him.
Right. You'll never believe. Oh my God. I'm so glad you're here. It's like when like, gossipy teenagers get to school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just find like with, Luke having that kept from him all his life, like who his father was and all that, like the fact that they just like did that all over again is like, it's like poetry, it rhymes, but it doesn't show any like growth in like, and a lot of times like in in Mandalorian and stuff, how they depict Luke and the Jedi and how it's such a traditional Jedi, like it hasn't progressed. Like he sort of learned, like he read up on all Darth Sidious and stuff like that, but seemingly learnt nothing like from the downfall of the Jedi, and sort of this like by implication, just by messy like scripting, they had to have found out at some point, and it seems really like backward that he'd keep it a secret. Like it's like I'm disappointed in my hero Luke Skywalker for doing this.
I mean, especially in The Last Jedi, it would be perfect because Luke didn't want to train her, and the fact that she's a Palpatine would be a good reason not to want to train her, you know?
Like,
But
it's
This
such
is all evidence for that being not true. And we're believing the
I love
villain
it.
again.
That's how you're so positive on it. It's because, like, if there's something that's, like, so, like, glaring, you just go, well, he was a bad person and bad people lie.
Yeah.
And
good people lie,
and-
too. Obi-Wan lied about
and
stuff.
nah.
If he either he lied last movie or he's lying this movie. You know what I mean? So like if no matter what, something we have to not believe him. So does it make more sense for right now when he needs Rey's power essentially or when he's trying to either weaken or the Sith thing of either trying to weaken her or pull him to his side? Does it make more sense for him to be now? Hey, by the way, you're related to me. That's why you're always looking for family. That's your thing, right? You want to know your family? I'm your family. Come join me, or I'll destroy you. Either way, get closer to me. Or does it make more sense that last time when she was kind of just up and coming and wasn't really that big of a deal for them to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to make up a lie that you're nobody. How is that going to help anybody on the Sith side of things? How is that going to help Snoke or the Emperor if they're going to make up a lie that she's nobody from nowhere? Is that... I don't know. This is
I feel like when she was told that, like, as it was written, Rey was reacting to like, oh yeah, I know that's the truth. But like, I just like someone's like telling it to her, and it's like that's the truth that she's being lying about herself the whole time.
In The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
When the story was good.
Yeah.
About Rey.
And I think that's reason to believe that this is not... We don't necessarily have to take this as 100% canon or 100% the truth, that it's coming from a villain who it helps that revelation. It helps the villains. So for the villains to bring it up,
you sound like you're got a press conference at Four Seasons plumbing.
Yeah. It's total landscaping. Here we go.
Landscaping. Sorry,
is that it does? Things like this are changed all the time. Like we just said, Obi-Wan lying about Anakin and stuff like that. So who knows?
No, I can't accept. That's such a like. It's so infuriating that you're happy to go. Is like you're just like making it. You're like making your own world within the world of like. Yeah, he said that, but he's lying in that part. So I get to negate. That's
Well, it's possible. I'm not saying he's definitely lying, but I'm saying like, well, look, let's follow the money here. Who does it benefit if he's lying? And who does it benefit if she is Rey from nowhere?
Dude, there's no way I'm coming back tomorrow.
Well, it kind of works out. Because it is our last day of the week. Steele, thanks again for coming on. We always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah. Hey, what happens now? Do you just like what's your deal? Are you just gonna go? You just have to wait for another film to get made now? Like, what's?
Stay tuned.
Yeah, we're figuring that out as we go. We have some ideas. We're gonna. We have a little bit. We have 100 and something more minutes of this, right? I think.
Something like that.
Whatever it is. No, not 100 minutes. But we have another hour plus of this movie left to talk about. So we have time. But at the end, we'll come up with something.
It's not the best way to have a lot more content. But if you want to surprise the fans, right?
They'd love surprises.
And flip the script, right?
Yeah. Undermine their expectations. Oh, wait, subvert? No, I don't know.
Yeah, this is definitely subversion of expectations. Review every TV show by season.
Every TV show ever?
No, of Star Wars. So instead of doing like each day we do a minute. It's just each
Right.
day we do a season.
Right. Micro, macro. We'll do the.
Yeah, you
Wow.
totally flip it around. It's like
Yeah.
you do something that goes even longer, quicker. Do you know what I mean? Keep them guessing. TikTok. That's what the kids are into. No,
like it.
no one's got that. No one can listen to this.
Yeah.
Like, I want to listen to 240 episodes a minute by minute. I want the whole season. Bang, 15 seconds maybe.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
really 3 episodes per day.
Star Wars second.
There you
Something.
go.
I don't know. Speed it up. Come on. But it is okay. Well, I await that. It's because I am a listener from way back, and it's always absolutely it's thrilling to come on and be on the podcast. It's really cool.
It's going back to that's how I first met you. So after a show, and you came up to me and you were like, "Hey,
Oh yeah,
I listened to the show and I like it."
At Nerd Melt, yeah,
A Nerd Melt, yeah.
yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. Oh wow, I was very happy to be at that show. Oh my god, I'm at a Star Wars podcast in LA.
Yeah.
Wow, it was so cool.
Little did you know.
Simpler times, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, can I just plug something new, if that's okay?
Please do.
So I mentioned on the first episode we did, I was an extra in Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Mhm.
and I've got all these like video diaries from all different steps of like getting cast and going
Wow.
to the. So I don't have video of actually going into the casting and all that, but I've got like before and after in the car. They're the happiest car videos you've ever seen. But I put a couple of them up of me driving there on the first day and driving home. But I've got sort of like all this footage to cover the whole bizarre journey of it up until at Celebration when they showed it. So I've got a little bit of spare time that I'm gonna just start putting out little snippets of that once a week. So it'll be on
Nice.
the podcast and on YouTube, which is Steele Wars. So
Cool.
check that out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm interested in how that all came about, and I will check it out.
Yeah. It's also, if you just want to like see someone at their happiest, it was
No,
like,
that I don't want to see. That's
Right.
yeah, I guess. But
no Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
There should be the opposite of Schadenfreude. It's like displeasure at the happiness of others.
well, there is one in one of the like, because my friend Corey, he got to do it as well. So we'd record stuff because we were the only people that knew. And there is one episode before it all came out where we discuss, are people going to hate our guts? That's which is pretty compelling listening.
Well,
But thanks so much. This is it's always a treat. I love it.
yeah,
thanks for
always
coming
good to
on.
have you on, and we will let you know what our future plans hold. Maybe you'll be able to talk to us again about Star Wars, which is always a fun thing to do.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to when we get to discuss the return of Darth Plagueis in in the Rey movie in a few years.
I will absolutely tip my hat to you if that ends up coming about. But in the meantime, if you don't hate us, you're not sick of us, why not sign up for our Patreon? StarWarsMinute.com/Patreon will get you there. It's you can hear shows that we do on Saturdays and Sundays. And so if you need more, that's where it's at. And we'll be back here where it's at on Monday. for a
Star
brand new
Wars Minute!
Star Wars Minute.